Good evening and welcome again for the Big Talk, the 7th series. As usual, we have a couple of guests with us, and for those of you who have tuned in for the first time on this, the Big Talk, I have the pleasure of inviting our Swamiji Brahmachari Maheshwara Chaitanya, who is the chairman for admissions into beta courses. He's also the regional director for the most sought after contest, which is ICPC, International Collegiate Programming Contest. And in fact, he is also responsible for taking many of our students, not only from Amrita, across our country for this particular contest. And in the year 2018, he was awarded a leadership award for his contribution towards ICPC. So we have Swamiji, who started off his graduation with commerce and then went on to do his master's in computer application. And he has been teaching for almost 15 years in the computer science domain. And today, I would say that he is certainly the most sought after teacher across most of the schools for programming and whatever you say, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and many of his videos are available in our Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham YouTube. So Swamiji, thank you so much for being with us to inaugurate and kickstart this particular event or an episode or a serial or a series, whatever you call it, the Big Talk. And now may I request Swamiji to light the lamp of knowledge and seek the blessings of our Chancellor, Mata Amritanandamayi Devi. Swami, thank you for showering the blessings on all of us. And yes, before we start, it's always our pleasure to invite the special speaker of the day, Mr.Jose Koshy. And generally, I have the habit of introducing the guest in terms of his academics and his process of his career from where he began and where he is today. But in Mr. Joe's case, I would certainly like to start off by asking a couple of questions and then put on to Swamiji for his lead questions to take this for the next 45 minutes to 60 minutes. So welcome, Mr. Jose. How do I call you? Jose Koshy?
Jose, you can call me Jose.
Jose. Okay, Jose, I mean, we're glad that we are having you here. And I was just, in fact, going through your profile from the time you joined a particular company till now. I would like to read out those companies, and those companies are which the entire globe has heard so far. I believe that you started off with, correct me if I'm wrong, you started off with Hindustan Liver. Those times it was called Hindustan Liver. You started off in Chennai?
Yes.
It was the office used to be in some second line beach, right?
Correct.
I went for the interview and didn't get through. That's what I'm asking. I did go for an interview there.
Oh, yeah.
So you now it's called Unilever. Unilever,
Yes.
yeah, FMCG. Then you went on to work for the India's most sought after company, Wipro. Then you were with Tata Communication, and of course you were with 3M, right? And currently you are the director for Oracle University. Now, my first clarification, because I don't have right to question you, Mr. Jose, because you come as our guest. You have shifted from different domains. You have worked in IT, information technology, you worked with telecom, you have worked with retail business, you have worked with FMCG. So, how did you manage to keep shifting your domains? Because I see people who join a particular career and end up with the same domain after maybe 35 to 40 years. And what was your learning from these changes? I just wanted to have this first clarification. And secondly, why did you change? Changing the company is okay. But why did you change from IT to FMCG, to FMCG, to communication, communication to retail business? Why did you do all this? Is it right or wrong? Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Kuti. I think it's a very valid. A lot of people ask this question. I think so. One of the thing is that as a young mind, and I am more qualified in the business side of it. So I keep telling the same thing: is that you need challenges in business. It doesn't matter whether you have sold soaps and shampoos, or today you're selling competencies and skills, or you're selling airplanes like Rafael just landed. So the skills that you need is, you need to keep polishing it as you go forward. It doesn't matter what product that you're selling. We can name so many organizations which have moved from Reliance is a classic case, right? From petrochemicals, now telecom, retail. So within India, we have so many businesses within a single conglomerate. So I think it's very similar. So a lot of people have this inertia of saying that you move to another industry, you would be left out. You need to learn the whole industry. But I think the whole thing about business, and I think that is one of the reason why we are here today, is on the continuous learning part. And what happens is you need to keep challenging yourself as that can you work in different organizations the same way and deliver on the business goals that the organization has on a consistent basis. So I think that's the strongest learnings that I've had. And every time there is a challenge, you take it on. So I think that's been one of my the reasons why I moved multiple organizations, and also it's challenged me. So if there is no challenge, then it actually puts me in a corner. I think
Yeah, Mr. Jose, one more clarification before I hand over the lead talk or lead question from our Swamiji. You changed organizations, and you also changed the domains. Did you not find it difficult to adjust to the new systems and new rules and regulations and new domains? Did you find it difficult, or it was an easy cakewalk for you to adjust to different domains, from IT to retail, retail to FMCG, FMCG to communication? Was it an easy changeover, or did you find it difficult? And if you have found it difficult, how one could adjust, because you don't have time today, you need to adjust as quickly as possible. Unlike those times where they give you 6 months of probation, then 6 months of training. So you don't have that type of situation today. You need to adjust as quickly as possible. So in your case, was it easy or was it tough? And it was easy. Why was it easy? It was tough. What did you do to get yourself adjusted to this new environment in new companies and domains? Over to you, and then I hand it over to
Mr. Kuti. I think very good question, and so I think I would not say the type of organizations that have moved are very culturally very enriched organizations, whether it was the Tata Group or Hindustan Unilever, Wipro, Oracle. All of them are pedigree organizations, right? So the thing is that so they needed skills which they did not have at that point of time. So that is the reason why they were trying to do smarter things, and maybe found me the most relevant at that point of time. So it was easier for me to mesh uh, well with the culture of those organizations, because one single theme that goes across these organizations where I've moved is actually the core culture and integrity of that organization. Means it's very powerful people, great people that we had, the coaching that we get in these companies, and it was not like an alien type of place that you're going, because everybody is a professional. They look up to you for the type of value addition that you're going to be bringing to that organization. So from that point, I think it was easier for me to get in, and it was easy to stitch myself into the fabric of the organization.
So, Mr. Jose, everyone need not be Mr. Jose, and everyone need not be lucky like you to get yourself adjusted to the new domain and new company. And what do you suggest when somebody shifts one from a particular company to the next company in a different domain, and he or she is finding it difficult to adjust, accustomed to those companies where he has joined or she has joined? There are situations where people stick on to company for 3 months to 6 months and say, look, oh my God, I'm not able to adjust. But in my opinion, that people like you who have been changing jobs, maybe 3 or 4 companies in the last maybe 30 years or so, you were able to adjust and pick up to the requirement of the company. But people are not able to, like, okay, they start cribbing maybe in the first month or second month. What is your direction? How can you guide them so that they get out of this feel of non-adjustability in a new organization? Over to you. I want your advice to those youngsters who are changing and shifting domains and companies. Your advice to them, please.
Mr. Kuti, I think brilliant question again. So I think the most one single important thing that I would say is that look for a mentor when you get into an organization. So I think a lot of people have this to go and ask for help, right? Because it's not an easy thing to do, because I'm going to a new job, I've got an increase in salary, I've done all this stuff, the job is going to be, but look for a mentor who will guide you, who will support you, who will be with you during the first 3 months of your journey, because that's the most critical period that you're going through. Express your concerns, because you come from it's like marriage, right? You go from one home to another home, and how do you adjust? It's not easy. The thing is that you surely need to have a mentor who will tell you that, these are things that this organization does well, these are things that this organization does not do well. This is the reason why you have come to this organization, how you can improve. So what happens is then that becomes a bonding factor with a person to build on it. So if you are trying to be a very siloed person, saying that, oh, I need to do everything, it's impossible. It's like playing a game of football, right? It's impossible for you to go, put the goal every time. You need to, it's a team game. So it's very similar to that. So even in an organization, when you get in, look for a mentor. I think that's one single advice I would like to give on the.
Mr. Jose, you have done your MBA from Nasimunji Institute of Management Studies in Bombay, right?
Right.
I think that is one of those most sought after business schools in our country. And you specialized in strategy, or what are you, marketing or
Marketing.
Okay. Just wanted my viewers to know that he is the product of Nasimunji Institute of Management Studies. So, well done. Now it's time for me to hand over the microphone to Swamiji for his first question. So he's going to ask you 3 questions, one to start, one in middle, and one to end up. So over to you, Swamiji, for your clarification with Mr. Jose. So thank you, Jose, for the initial.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kuti.
I'll come back. I'm here, not going anywhere. So over to you, Swamiji, for your question, please.
Okay, it is nice to hear from you about the organizations which you have worked, and having the background from commerce. Now you are in a company where only the technologies around you. It's full technology. So what I want to know, or what the viewers want to know, I'm asking from the perspective of the students who will be the future engineers. And you are talking about the mentor. You said that everybody should have a mentor in the organization which they join. That certainly is something equivalent to the internships taken up by the students during their degree. So what is your opinion, or what is your take on the question if I ask you, how fast is technology growing across different domains? Let it be commerce, let it be e-commerce, let it be marketing, or let it be pure engineering program or pure engineering domain. What is the impact of technology? Because you are from Oracle, and Oracle is a company which has got, or which has the largest or type of database, the database application, and one of the most powerful ones when compared with any other product. So from your experience, what is the relevance of data for future? In future, what is going to be the relevance of the data? And why is it important that our students who are passing out, they should have a very concrete foundation on technology?
Thank you, Swamiji. I think very relevant question in today's, in a very disruptive world that we live in. I'll just go back to some old, like all of us, three of us know how technology has evolved from a basic computer to get your ticket booked at the railway station to, ERP package, which the next door guy used to really create a small package and give it to any of the manufacturing, to productizing the whole stuff today, right? So today's the whole banking is getting into a mode where there's branchless banking, right? Means I have not visited a bank to transact for the last 25 years. So I think that's the state that we're going in. Means as kids we grew up going to a bank, standing in a queue, getting a token. I'm just giving an example of that. So all that is now passé. Means I think only now a few senior citizens go to banks is what I would think. And what has really happened is that disruption happening at every single phase. So I think that's what has happened. And as you said, data is like it's been repeated. Let me also say as a cliche, is the new oil, like people say that. And that's one of the reasons why privacy laws are coming in very strongly. But it's made all our jobs easier. So today you want to open a bank account, you just need a simple Aadhaar card, Aadhaar number, and you get authenticated and it's on. And so you're straight away on, whether you want to do a banking transaction, you want to do a ticketing transaction, anything is. But what is also happening on that is that it's so easy, it's so convenient. Everything is happening at a lightning pace, and there is also a huge discussion now going on around privacy, right? Because this data is all over the place. We don't have robust laws to manage that, and all of us give data to when we're searching. We're giving away data. When we are driving on the road, we're giving away data because somebody is tracking you. So all that is getting tracked somewhere. Where we're going, where today where I'm sitting means the longitude, latitude of where I'm sitting and having this team call with all of you. So it's to that extent, it's there's also an intrusion to privacy from that standpoint. So where data needs to be regulated smartly, we need to be careful with our data, whatever we share. Means from a technology standpoint, like what you rightly said, Oracle, we started with version 2, and now we are on to 19C in 40 years. That's Oracle, and we made it so robust that in the touch of a button, whatever you're seeing today is because of Oracle's backend database, which we have across most banks, most governments, most telcos work only on Oracle. We have close to around 55 to 60% market share on pure database. So and now we are also moving into things again. It's like the driverless car. It's called the autonomous database. So you don't need to touch the database now. It will patch on its own. It will fix bugs on its own. Those type of stuff. So it's so robust, so dynamic. And today, for example, all of us are working from home. Means the entire IT community, with all this pandemic coming in, they're safe, secure, working from home, still having the same level of productivity. Your classes have gone online. As per UGC, you need to have at least 40 hours of class that you need to do. But now I think all of you will represent and say that, do we need to have 40 hours going into a class, or do we need to have maybe 20 hours of digital learning and 20 hours of in class? So though I think it's blending, it's meshing it up, and delivering some of the best stuff using technology. And it's going to be disruptive. As we talk, and the next phase when we go, it will be again very, very different. So again, I'm sure Amrita has its own data centers and all that stuff, but I don't know, would you want to keep a data center anymore? Because it's a cost, you're going to have so many people working on it, might as well put it onto the cloud, right? So the thing is that you can manage it sitting in your office, and all the dashboards and analytics are all provided. The best of security is provided. So you have it all today. So we're seeing a lot more people getting onto the cloud at a much faster pace, and that is another evolution that is happening. So banks are a classic case. It's all on the cloud, right? And the thing is that we don't even know what's happening. Where the physical money doesn't exist anymore. When credit card came, we were swiping cards, and then we used to pay it. So those days are gone today, right? But the thing is that today it's all Paytm or Google Pay, and we are transferring money. Nobody goes to even when ATMs are dropping, transactions are dropping big time. So I think what is the next level of disruption? We don't know, honestly. But the thing is that we need to keep moving with times, and that's what product companies like Oracle and others are striving to keep moving ahead of the curve, so that we try to catch the trend, so that we are way ahead of time. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the way I look at Swamiji, he has got a few more questions lined up for you. So over to Swamiji for the next clarification. I can see his reaction. The better you answer, the more questions keep coming up from Swamiji. Over to you, Swamiji, for the next clarification.
No, I was wondering when you spoke about the laws in our country for the data. Recently, there was a news saying some sort of non-personal data regulation being proposed by Dr. Chris Gopalakrishnan of Infosys. So he has proposed to anonymize the data, so that anonymity will keep the personal information away, or the identity of the person will not be disclosed. So one is that how is it possible for the government agencies and private agencies to manage data without getting the identity of the individual? Second is, how do you think that in the years to come, in the future to come, for example, if you see all the universities are going, all the classes are going online. The major platforms like Netflix is in the cloud. It is completely on the internet, and we all watch the news and other web shows in the mobile phone or in the desktop. So which means that we have the information available at our fingertips, but nobody knows what is happening behind the scenes. For example, when you say that, let us say Amrita has got 7,000, 20,000 students attending the examination, and they use the laptop, but at the same time the entire work or the backend, it is completely the cloud. When you say it is cloud, So what do you see that will be the growth for the next maybe next 5 years? And how far the data security will be, or the regulations to say make the data secured will be effective in the coming times?
Swamiji, I think very pertinent question again is that what is happening is that the encryption technology is going at a much faster pace, because as you rightly said about even our Aadhaar identity is so there's a huge encryption that's happening at the back end, so that the identity is not open to other people. So the multi-layered encryption technology that people are building. So I would think that that would get more and more robust, and there would be much more smarter encryption technology that would come in and ensure that identity is not easily or freely available. I remember once somebody came and told me that there are close to 15 lakh engineers passing out every year, and I can give you that on an Excel sheet. So that means it's all available, right? It means it's so you can spam the person, you can do all that type of stuff. But so I think it's not about just somebody owning that data, but how secure is the person keeping it? Is he having those technology to encrypt and keep it and give it only to select people with very clear identity management type of a model by which you're not all over the place? So I think it's all happening. I think as we speak, there is lot of investment going in that space, and so we're seeing it. Means Oracle again is a pioneer, and in doing means we are an identity management software pioneer. So we ourselves are investing heavily into that, and as you're getting into cloud, you need to be more and more secure, because I think that's the reason you will never hear the top 5-6 companies ever being hit by any malware or any of the stuff, because that's the core of a business, because we'll be out of business if anything happens to a product company, right? So I think services companies get hacked, or one of these type of companies get hacked, but a company like Oracle, you would never ever hear that we would be hacked into something like that, because that's the type of because database, if somebody gets in and tries to hack it, that's because of our entire encryption model that we've been following, and keeping data secure, and also the customer can pull in the data whenever they want it at the fastest time. I think those are things that would come in, and so as we speak in the next forget 5 years. I think in the technology world, I think means at least Oracle talks 3 months. So even when we so this is one of the big challenge that we have, Swamiji, is that when we talk to universities, you have a governing council, you have a curriculum council which sits and puts in a whole curriculum, and what happens is the whole thing undergoes dramatic change, and you would not even know, because by the time the student is passing out, the whole technology is changed. So that's the reason why the industry intervention on a semester basis. So we are expecting, means we have also represented to AICTE and at the UGC and all that. So keep it a little more open, especially on the technology side. It's not like you and me went to commerce colleges, and where debit and credit don't dramatically change anymore, but technology surely changes. So even if you see Java, the version that we have today is version 14 from where we started, and this is in a span of 25 years. So it undergoes dramatic changes. That whole technology changes. The ERP platform, which was there once a huge machine. I still remember when I joined technology companies, people used to have a server room. You had to remove your chappal, getting into it used to be air conditioned. And growing up in Chennai, you know how it is, no dust into that room. So today I don't even see anything like that anymore. So it's all I'm just you will relate, or Mr. Kutty will relate, that how we are from those days, and today I don't even see a server in my in many offices. I don't even see a server room anymore.
I think, Swamiji, your laughter again makes me feel that you got one more question to be asked. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I've just got only a few questions, so you can go ahead with one more clarification. So,
No,
Swamiji, over to you.
I was just wondering how he referred you, and you know. No, you can carry. You can proceed.
All right, so I'm sorry that I didn't introduce myself, and my name is Krishnan Gutti, but I'm called as Medul Krish, popularly known as Medul Krish. I represent Amrita Vishwavidyapitham, and just to talk about a couple of things about our university, we have all streams of education, starting from arts and science to engineering to business management to Ayurveda to education to biotechnology. You know, you name anything, but for law, we have all streams. So that is number one. Number two, it is not again out of place for me to mention that Amrita Vishwavidyapitham is the number one private university as far as the time in India, as for the Times Higher Education Survey recently conducted for the Asian countries. So we have been ranked at 125th rank in the Asian countries as so maybe if you look at the Indian as Indian content of it, we are the first ranked university as far the Asian countries are concerned. So second thing, it is again not out of place to mention that we have also been ranked the fourth best university in India by the MHRD in NIRF, National Ranking Framework, Institutional Ranking Framework. So we were at 8th in 2019 and we have now escalated ourselves to the fourth position, and certainly we are thankful to all those who have contributed in making Amrita Vishwavidyapitham as the fourth best university under NIRF ranking. Thank you so much. And my question to you, sir, is that you had worked in world's number one or the top companies like 3M. And 3M is regarded as a company, an innovative company. I think they are the top most innovative company in the world. I just want to know, having you served that particular multinational company, how did they imbibe that particular character of innovation within the company? Over to you, Mr. Jose.
Again, good question. Is that I think one of the when we were all studying management, I think one of the dream companies we used to have was 3M because Peter Drucker used to talk so much about that company. So,
Yes.
So as a child, or I would not say child anymore, as a when you were in your youth, these are very impressionable organizations that stuck to your head. So when I got an opportunity to work there, so that was the first question that I kept asking, and so I actually have felt it myself. Is that the culture that was built in that organization is that they give you freedom to spend 30% of your time doing projects that are pet to you, means which can create an impact in solving a problem. I think so. I've used that considerably, even in today's core topic of continuous learning. And there it was like this whole thing about continuous learning and building on the whole stuff. So whether it is post-it notes, that stick pads that you see, or whether you see the Scotch Brite, the what you use in the kitchen, or to the extent of the magic tape, it's all come out of labs where people have spent time. So 30% of your time is given to actually to say that you can build like R&D, you can work on it. So you have say 10 hours of time in a day. 3 hours can be dedicated only to do your pet project work, and that's really paid off. So they continue to have close to 60,000 SKUs or products, and it's there's no question there to say that, oh, you're wrong. That would never ever come there. So the only question always they keep asking is that what is the problem we are solving? So I think that's a very powerful. So even that's even in my management style, I've used that very so effectively. Is that for any problem that you have, you fix it with solving a particular problem. It's not like you just need to do it. I mean, I only wish that everybody thinks that way and keeps solving problems, and you'll see a very different mankind going forward. So I think that's in the culture. So you talk to the employees, you talk to your managers, you talk to anybody on the shop floor. The core is always thinking about doing something new. So the whole startup culture, in an organized way, I would think was 3M, because they always kept encouraging people to try new things, and fear of failure was just not there. You can fail. They would never say, not that your increments are getting cut or your is getting pulled, because those are things, right? Means I've spent time on it, and then my boss has not given me an increment. Those type of questions don't even arise there. So it's all, creating products, what you think is solving a problem.
Mr. Jose, thank you so much for explaining 3M so well. And the next clarification I would like to know is, because many of us want to know Oracle as an organization. We all have heard, everyone has heard about Oracle, but what does Oracle do? There are so many divisions of Oracle, and you are taking care of the Oracle University. Once you explain about Oracle as an organization, then I'll go to a particular question on Oracle University, which you are heading at the moment. So over to you to brief us on Oracle as an organization. How big is it, or how large it is? Over to you, sir.
Oracle is, if I want to simply say, it's a technology product organization solving customers' problems. So I would put it that way. And we cut across. We have hardware, which is all the large servers that you see, which is one of the largest. So we have huge storages, and we are a cloud organization, which where you can put in all your data onto that and access that data. We are a database organization controlling close to 60% of the database of the world rests with Oracle. And so whenever you're accessing your bank account, it is all Oracle. So if you're getting it in a click of a button on your mobile or on your laptop, it is thanks to the Oracle technology that is coming in so fast. So I think so database is another. We are in the computer language business, which is basically the Java is our core focus, which is so that's a very big play for us, and we continue. This is the 25th year of Java, and so I think most of the students in the computer stream would surely know Java. So I think without Java, they can't even get out in the to work in an industry. So I think that is another. We have the middle layer, which we call it the middleware. So we have that layer, huge investments there. So basically, for clarifying to simple, I would say the arts or commerce student, is that this is a layer which sits between the different applications and fetches the application to you faster. So I think we have that layer there, and then we have the core applications like ERP, CRM, and the marketing applications and the analytics built onto the whole stuff. So we cut across the entire spectrum. We are a $40 billion company, 138,000 employees globally. In India, we are around 35,000 employees.
Thank you, Mr. Jose. I think they have some inquiries asking about our examinations. Our examinations is on a remote proctored technique, and it will be from 17th to 23rd of August. You can all sit at home and write your entrance examination for our university, right? And also we have still kept our registration. You can always register. You can also always get into our website www.amrita.edu/btech and register for the first year BTech admission into all the 4 campuses, one in Amrita, one in Coimbatore, one in Chennai, and one in Bangalore. So please, people have not so far registered or so far not applied to our AEEE examination, you can do so. It's still open, maybe till the first week of August. So that is on that. And my question to you, Mr. Jose, is the topic today is, I mean, we have flashed that particular topic is about a sure vaccine for success in professional life, a sure vaccine. Because today we talk about vaccine, eagerly waiting for the vaccine for coronavirus. But then we thought we'll just divert our attention from talking about the coronavirus vaccine to vaccine for success in professional life. And what I mean, you would have had so many vaccines, right? It's not one single vaccine that you would inject on a corporate guy and then making success. I'm sure we would like to hear from you. What are those vaccines? Maybe 1, 2, or 3, which can be replicated into the professional life of young gentlemen now into corporate world, and then be successful professionals for the future. So over to you, Mr. Jose, as to what are the vaccines that you have in hand which can be injected into our people, including me, for the time being. Over to you, Mr. Jose.
Okay, going back to the time of, all of us, as we were growing up, we thought that, from the year 3, when you're 3 years, you go to a play school, and then you finish your college by 22, and all the learning is done, everything is done, and then you go into a job, and that's it. But I think the whole purpose of this is that learning doesn't stop. Is that this may be a formal way of learning that you spend so much time in a college or university in a very structured mode, and then complete a program, the standardize the whole program with a degree certificates that we all have, or a certification that most of them would get, is basically to ensure that there is a standardized process to the whole thing. But once you get into a job in professional life, most of them think that, okay, I learned all this stuff, but one of the things that I try to practice is that spend at least 1 hour asking yourself, what are the problems you're solving on a daily basis, and try to improve on your skills on a regular basis. I think that is one thing which will help you improve on your. Otherwise, what happens is any repetitive jobs is going to be taken over by machines, because unless you are in the forefront of change, and you need to exhibit that change effectively. I think that's one thing which you need. So that's the reason why learning is a continuous process. It is not like plug and play. Okay, I finished my engineering, or I finished my MBA, I'm getting a job. No. So a lot of people talk about unconscious learning, right? So I learn from Mr. Kuti or Swamiji, when every time I meet, you're saying something, and that's all. That's very unconsciously we are picking up a lot of stuff. We pick up a lot of stuff from our parents, elders, friends. So that's unconsciously you're picking up, but consciously you need to strive to work on things and keep improving. Like how you spend time going and exercising for 1 hour. You go to a doctor, he says 30 minutes every day, go for a walk or run, jog. So that's basically. So can you internalize learning every day for 1 hour? So I think that's one thing that I would recommend everybody does, because it's not a it's a journey. Learning is a journey. It is not a destination anymore. And I think that's the message that I would like to give on that.
Wonderful. I think well said. And I would like to go for the next clarity on a particular doubt that I have. You are heading the Oracle University. I would like to know, how are you building that learning ecosystems amongst colleges and university? Over to you, Mr. Jose. How are you building that learning ecosystems between university and different colleges? Over to you.
So what we do is that, so as I told you, that there are close to 15 lakh engineers passing out every year from India. And a lot of people are still stuck on to, you're just passing out a BTech or a BE electronics type of a program. What industry means, we represent the industry. We try to do is that work with colleges and universities and talk about the latest, because what happens is that employability is a core for any student who's passing out, whether it is a BTech, MTech, BE, or any of the engineering. So what we are trying to do is that can we inject a real need, industry need technologies into your curriculum, and so that they are ready when they come out. So when large organizations like an IBM or an Infosys or Wipros are hiring, they will look for a standardized model. Okay, are you a database 19 certified person? Okay, so they don't have to really invest on that, because already the student has invested that time in the college, university, when he has all the time. So you see, I was talking to the head of HR of one of the largest services company. He was saying that it takes me 6 months to 9 months to get a fresh graduate to put him on a project, and we invest around close to rupees 10 lakhs on that person. So that's the type of investment once you get into an organization, that the organization tries to get you into shape, because what you've learned, a lot of unlearning has to happen, and then relearn a lot of stuff, which is the latest technology. So can we bridge that gap? So that's the type of stuff that we are talking to universities and colleges. And even now we are moving into the latest cloud technologies and all that, which is not there or called out by any college or university into their curriculum. So we are still, as I told you, that we're talking, N minus 3 years or 4 years. So we need to go N minus maybe three months. And that's tough, I know, but I think that's what we evangelize and try to work very closely with universities and education bodies to intervene, to ensure that the ecosystem is built and the students are ready for employment as soon as they come, as soon as they pass out.
Mr. Jose, it would be a personal question to you. Your success so far, I'm talking to you about the secret of your success. Would you attribute it to your continuous learning? Is that the main secret of your success? Or you have many other secrets which you don't want to reveal or you like to reveal? Is continuous learning played a very prominent role in your success so far? I'm sure, and we pray that you must see much more successes in the future. But so far, whatever success you have seen, Mr. Jose, is it the number one reason or the secret would be continuous learning or something else? Over to you, Mr. Jose.
No, clearly means continuous learning is for sure, stepping stone to even taking that risk of moving industries. Right? I've moved to multiple industries. That's also made me smarter. So means when I'm talking to a professional like you or Swamiji, who run universities and colleges, I can talk your language. I go and talk to a cement company's chairman. I can talk that language because we read balance sheets, we read profit and loss. Are they doing well in the industry? When I saw Swamiji talking about the Infosys founder and what he's talking about, so he's thinking about what is the future of technology, what needs to be done. So I think we need to be aware of those things. So I think being aware and learning at every single move is the most important for you to be successful. Two, I would think is that you can never do it alone. Is that I always the analogy is I'm a sportsman, so it's like playing a game. So you need to take everybody along, and as you move forward, is that it becomes a pyramid, and the captain cannot do everything. You need to have, even in cricket, you need to have the 11 players playing, or a football. You need all the 11 players contributing. Otherwise, you're going to bomb. So same thing is with organization. Same thing is with your team. So I think that's for the other success that I think uh, uh, I have, apart from the continuous learning. That
Jose, this is again not so personal, but then this answer of yours is going to help many of our students who are watching this particular big talk, the big talk. You had worked in companies like Unilever, you had worked in companies like Tata Telecommunication, then you had worked with Wipro, 3M, now with Oracle, and all those big companies you have worked for. Most of us, we want to know, I mean, you would have certainly had sort of stage of interviews and people would have had discussions before taking you into a particular organization. These students now, there are students from engineering background and there are students from schools who are now watching us. I would like you to tell them, like during an interview, what commonly, forget about FMCG, forget about communication IT, but when somebody attends an interview to get to crack that particular interview, what are your suggestions? Because you're a person with a lot of experience, you have had many interviews in your life and you've been successful getting jobs. So for those of them who are now appearing in the future, maybe in the next 3-4 years, they get into placement. So all these multinationals come into the campus and recruit them through placement interviews. So my suggestion is to open out as to what to say and what not to say in an interview. I hope this is not out of the subject. This is also a true vaccine, because how do you skill yourself, upskill only when you get a job. But the question is, how do I get a job first? Over to you, Mr. Jose.
I think over and above the being a subject matter specialist, that as you're passing out on a subject, one of the core that I look for in candidates is surely the attitude that you have towards working, because I think it's not about getting the job, but it's about attitude. And in today's time, right, means there's there's nothing called an SOP, like standard operating job that you have. Means how well are you taking new initiatives and driving that which is not asked for. Means I don't ask for something, but the person says that I think I want to do this, and this will help the organization in ABC way. I think those are things that most managers look for, is that does the person have an attitude to go beyond his call of duty? Is that coming in? Means today we call them volunteers or whatever. Means why shouldn't, even in your own university and college, there are so many volunteers, right? Means you have who come work outside of their school time or college time, and they're spending a lot of personal time doing volunteering. So I think that is call of duty. I look for people who have those type of skills, who have gone out of their way, who can who's going, because that same attitude of that person can be put into an organization, and that person will do similar stuff within an organization, on his job, for the team around, for the organization. So that's what I would think, is that I'm not talking about the subject matter at all. You need to surely be good in your subject, and for you to get your job. But beyond that, these are nicer things that most managers look for, because again, I'm just telling about certification. If everybody is certified in a particular way, and there is a clear standard, how would you, we are not machines, right? You pick up something from your shelf, we are human beings. So what is it that the manager looks for, are these small things?
Mr. Jose, I think for those little children who are watching, and maybe in the next few years will be attending interviews, the best thing is to go beyond your curriculum, and as he rightly said, get out and volunteer yourself to do activities beyond your capacity. I think that is what he's saying. Join NSS, join NCC. Those type of people generally the managers see differently and recruit them. I'm right. Like you would, if everything is same, right? And if somebody has served NCC or a national service NSS, you would pick up those guys. Those are the guys who are something too special. So I think this is what he means. It's just not your domain on whatever, whether you're an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer. What they will look at is beyond that. So please, at this time, if you're able to do something beyond, get out of those comfort zones and take those challenging opportunities that you have today. I think that is what Mr. Jose has been telling all of us. And now is the time for me to get back Brahmachari Maheshwara Chaitanya onto the scene to ask his million or trillion dollar question to Mr. Jose. So over to you, Swami, for your final closure session. And I'm sure Jose is eagerly watching to hear from you. What is your $1 million question to Mr. Jose? Over to you, Swamiji.
I was listening to your the answers you had given. So one of the key things which you told that we have to be the students are expected to be the problem solvers because the challenges they face, and you were saying that they should learn it from their career itself through the entire program, entire the course. So you have been moving from one big organization, and you have now landed up with Oracle. So what all were the few of the major challenges which you faced when you started adapting with 2 or 3 different organizations? And how were you able to overcome, or how did you adapt those challenges? How did you overcome those challenges by solving the problem in the new organization?
Jose, I think it's not a $1 million question. I think you are getting set to answer Swamiji's questions. Over to you, Mr. Jose.
Okay, so see, one of the when you get into any organization, so there is this call of duty, right? The reason why you are there is there is a call. There is a call that you need to solve, and you need to take it to a next level of platform. And so the organization, fortunately, I worked with some of the best organizations which had all the resources. So I think most important is that the backing and resources that you have is a very, very important thing. So I was lucky that I spent a lot of time with organizations which backed you up in terms of resources. And also you had, like I was saying, that fortunate to have good bosses, mentors who were advising right, saying that this is a skill that we see you have. This is the type of stuff that we want to change, and we wanted an change agent who's a catalyst for growth. And so that is so when there's so much of trust and integrity around this whole stuff, when a problem solving statement is given to you, you tend to take on that ownership. I think the core is taking on that ownership and not saying that it's not my job, or it's not my, it's not in most of the professional roles that I have played, nobody has told me that this is the way you should do it. You have to work from 9 to so it's always a flexible. It's about delivery of outcomes. So even today we look at delivery of outcomes, saying that what is the outcome that is means today. All of us, I don't think we're going to be visiting our office for the next maybe 3-6 months. I don't know when because of the pandemic that is there now. So mine is a very traveling job. Traveling around the world. I miss coming to Coimbatore, meeting all of you, and or going to Dubai or Sydney. So I'm completely missing a lot of these travel where we sit, talk to customers, do all this, and there's only so much that you can do on video conferencing, and so it's a new. Means it's a I was telling yesterday that culturally we are like. The Asians and the Oriental feel is much more relationship, much more. The culture is, very, very personal versus the Western world. Western world can on the phone, they do a lot of stuff on the phone itself, but we guys are not in that. So coming to that question that you asked, so I would think that going beyond Call of Duty was one of the way I also adapted to most of these challenges in organizations and made a mark for myself and for the organization.
So Swamiji, I think Jose has already cleared your doubts, and I'm sure, let me have a look at you, Swamiji. I think you have one more final question to ask, I'm sure about it, and isn't it? I know it's coming through now. Over to Swamiji again for the final question.
No, it's just quite one thing which when you said that it depends on the mentor and you accept the situation and take the ownership, which is the key part in holding a responsibility, executing any project in a profession, in an organization. So what is the key element that students should look for? What is the value component which they should be able to gain while doing their degree? Because what you said is very important, because ownership is something which people miss nowadays.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
that is makes a person different or unique, or it's part of individuality. So what is it that you would recommend to students who will join Amrita in future, or who will pass out from Amrita and join some organization, maybe Oracle? So what is your advice for them?
Good question. See, one of the core values which Amrita also stands for is very strong on integrity. Right? So the thing is that I would consider that as a very powerful thing. When I think Amrita is known for its integrity. Right? So I think students coming out of Amrita, in many cases, means Mr. Kuti will also go with it, is that I have this thing about because I grew up in Central School, which is Kendriya Vidyalaya, which is all my life funded by the government of India, and we still, when I see a student coming from a Kendriya Vidyalaya, I know how the person has got molded in terms of the personality the person is. So the thing is that I know how many periods the school had, how many mass PT classes, how many games he would have played, elocution competitions he would have gone, or a debate he would have done. And very similar, I'm sure Amrita University is in that echelons of prominence in that space, is that means you imbibe those type of values in students, and your volunteering model, your like what Mr. Kuti was talking about, NSS, NCC, sports, participating in debates. So these are values that which is very useful when you actually get into a corporate environment. So you have all this opportunity provided by your learning institution, and make full use of that, because I think that's the greatest asset that you would get when you're studying. It's not just studying, but you need to have, because once you are out in the open, it's a wild world, and you need to prove yourself. And like I always say, that none of us human beings are machines, and we just say that, okay, I have a Java certificate, I have a database certificate. That you have 156,000 people having Java certificates only in Coimbatore. So it's that type of substance. Whom would you pick? So that becomes so I think those are the values which you need to pick beyond your educational qualification that you would take.
Thank you, Jose. And Swamiji, I don't know whether it's time for us to settle down Friday evening, and if you permit me to do so, it's Friday evening and tomorrow is Eid. So Eid Mubarak to all of you for celebrating Eid, and we all celebrate Eid. And Jose, no words to say, and I always believe thanks is just a formality. I don't need to thank you, but you've done a wonderful job in clearing most of our doubts on various queries that has been raised by Swamiji. And if Swamiji permits, can I say.
Thank you very much, Swamiji.
Yeah, Swamiji's, the last word really, last one sentence will hit all of us. I want that last one sentence from Swamiji, and then I close the show altogether. Over to you, Swamiji, the final version of the big talk.
No, see, what we learn from him is that it is not just technology, adapting technology. It matters quite a lot about the attitude of the student when joining an organization as part of the profession. So attitude matters a lot, and what he rightly said is managing learning. Learning is a continuous process. So they have to adapt that kind of an attitude in life. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to accept the changing situations, especially what we are in now. So which is very important, and that is what the crux of the entire talk is. So thanks for the 1 hour session which you have spent with us, and we'll be circulating this video across our students for getting your experience across them, and thanks a lot.
Thank you very much,
Mr. Jose. Thank you, Mr. Jose.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate
This is Medal Krish signing off from Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, the headquarters, Etimade, Coimbatore, and till we meet again.
Thank you.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Bye.
Thank you so much. Good day. We'll catch up later.
Bye.